So today we are going to discuss next topic of control and coordination, that is reflex action. So this word reflex we use in our day-to-day life. What does it mean? Reflex means it is a sudden action which we do without thinking. Okay, sudden or automatic response to something in the environment is known as reflex. Like we say that I jumped out of the bus reflexly, or I pulled my hand from the flame reflexly, or I am so hungry that my mouth started watering reflexly. So what does this reflex actually mean? So this means it means that something which we do involuntarily, automatic response to something in our environment. Like if we touch a hot plate accidentally, will we keep touching it, or we will remove our hand? If we will keep touching it and we start thinking and all, then our hand by the time will be burnt. So there is a need for a quick response. No thinking is involved in that process. So what do you mean by reflex action? So reflex action is defined, it is a quick, spontaneous, involuntary or automatic response to a stimulus. Now, how this reflex action is carried out in our body? What is the actual mechanism in which the reflex action occurs? Suppose I'm giving you an example. Suppose this hot plate is a stimulus, okay, and if we touch that hot plate, that is detected by the receptors, thermoreceptors present in our skin, and these receptors will transmit the information through the sensory neuron. Sensory neuron carry these messages to the spinal cord, okay, and this here in the spinal cord, another type of neuron known as motor neuron will carry the information to the effector organ, that is the muscle, and when the information goes to the muscle will contract and we will remove our hand. So this whole pathway undertaken by the nerve impulse from the receptor to effector during a reflex action is known as reflex arc. This pathway by which the information is carried during a reflex action is known as reflex arc. So it is an emergency situation. Here we have to make a very quick response, so we don't have so much time that to think about it, so it takes place simultaneously, and here the brain is not actually involved. Here only the spinal cord is involved for the transmission of impulse, and the information only goes to the brain. So how is the brain involved in reflex action? Since the brain is not directly involved in this process, because most of the sensory neuron do not pass directly into the brain, but it passes into the spinal cord, which allows the reflex action to occur relatively quickly by activating the motor neurons. In the spinal cord only, the sensory neuron and motor neuron are joined by another type of neuron which is known as relay neuron, and it quickly transmits the information to the motor neurons. And here, although the brain receives some sensory input while the reflex action occurs, that is, the message only goes to the brain, but no thinking and all is involved in this process. So this is about the reflex action.